Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads, a podcast that helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads. I'm Susie, and together we will be taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, and let's get this episode going. Welcome back, gorgeous soul. How are you feeling today? How's the vibe going? Besides the world itself being a dumpster fire, how are you doing? Mm, I hear you through and through. Um, but there's been an uplifting kind of energy. And we just finished tying up the month of June. And to me, it's a reminder of we keep moving forward. And whether you resonate or not with the Gregorian calendar, um, the fact of the matter is that we abide by it because of society, right? But as far as your spiritual practice goes, it can go either way, as we discussed this as we were discussing the moon. And something beautiful that really resonated with me as I'm doing all of this research on the moon, and I already adore the moon. Um, but we had the new moon and in Cancer, and Jupiter was doing the most loveliest things, right, for expansion. And I really stopped to think about this Gregorian calendar, right? And maybe I'll do a whole episode on it. But it really brought me back to how I'm looking at my practice, and there are just things that I don't resonate well with. I don't know, I guess we'll just say societal norms, I guess now. Like, for example, January, I don't do a whole resolution because at that time we're still in the dead of winter. It is not really the new year. The new year starts in the spring when we come together with nature and nature's starting to wake up. So to start something in January where you're just, I'm gonna XYZ, and then you have a hard time keeping to it, it's because your internal like clock and nature and everything is going against what's being told to you. Now, that's not to say that I don't enjoy counting down. I'm still bringing in the new actual numerical year. You know what I mean? So 2025. Yeah, it is 2025. I use that time though to continue reflecting. This is an inner reflection, right? And that's what I really felt with this new moon, an inner reflection, my inner feelings. And I've been on this path for a while now, but it's so beautiful how you can always still be a student and you can always learn. So, as you know, we come to July 1st. When you hear this, it's July 2nd, but we're starting right in the beginnings of July. A lot of people push, first of the month magic, which is fine because guess what? I do it too. I drop the hey, it's the first of the month. Don't forget to blow cinnamon through your front door and basil and rosemary for protection and wipe your front door and clean out the money bowl. But all of that doesn't necessarily need to be done on the first of the month. It can be if you resonate and you're looking at it numerically, number one, right? But you can also do that on the new moon. You could also do that on Thursday, which is ruled by Jupiter. And I have an episode in season one where I went through the magical days of the week. So don't feel like you need to be confined to what everybody else is doing. That's not what the craft is about. The craft is your own. Yeah. We just are mindful and respectful of other cultures and what they practice. And as I was doing this research, right, we're coming into the waxing moon. And I love that. I love all the phases. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. But the waxing moon is about doing the work, right? The new moon, we planted the seed, which is beautiful. We thought about it. This is what we want. This is going to be what I'm manifesting. This is my intention. I'm just going to move my computer real quick in case you hear scraping around. But we can't just leave it there. We can't just plant the seed and be like, okay, thanks, universe. I can't wait to see my manifestation in X amount of days. Not to say that you absolutely can do that. Of course you can. However, it also benefits you to help moving it along, right? Because you want to make sure that you are um, making sure that the seed that is planted is also getting water, right? You're getting the water to the seed so that way it could begin to grow and bud out and grow root and be secure in that. It's not just a one-off thing. So when we're looking at the waxing moon phases, we have the waxing crescent, and this is what comes after the new moon. So the waxing crescent is more or less 2 to 6 days old. We see that little sliver of light, so 1% to 49% illumination. And like I said, this is the phase where it's like the beginnings. Okay, you're creating maybe some action or something tangible, right? Something to start the process, make the wheel begin to turn. So maybe that's making better habits. This is starting to maybe habit stack or routine stack. So after the waxing crescent, we have the first quarter. Now, the first quarter moon is 50% illuminated. So when you look up at the sky and you see that beautiful, like solid line of that shadow and the light. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Right after that waxing crescent, the first quarter, we're continuing to make choices that are going to continue to move us forward on whatever seed was planted, right? This is refining the plan. This is obviously, if you look at it, balance, overcoming those blocks, noticing maybe the blocks that you didn't notice before. And you're like, oh my gosh, this person who I thought I could trust with everything has been leaking all my secrets and or my ideas and passing them off as their own. That is the illumination. And not just noticing it, but taking the action towards it, right? And we continue with healthy boundaries, healthy habits. We continue to be disciplined. Right after we have the waxing gibbous. Now, the waxing gibbous is between like that 51% to 99% illuminated. Okay. And that's where I get my husband. It's like, it looks like a full moon. No, but there's that 1% that it's not. Right? And waxing gibbous can be about energy, fertility. This is the expansion and growth right before that full moon. This is continuing what you started from the new moon to the crescent, and now you are here with that expansion, that growth. If it was a tangible thing, you are still realizing how it was beneficial for you. This is also a great time for self-care and noticing all of your achievements. This is a time where it's like, if you haven't already, you need to pat yourself on the back because you have come from a space of darkness and you are growing up and out. This is growth. This is abundance. This is you following and taking actions and, following the thread. You're coming into action of all the themes of this time period. You are working on that energetic vibration on what you want, what you're desiring. And this is a commitment to be more aligned with that. That's why I'm saying this is your everyday habits, everyday thoughts, and behaviors. As I told you, right, I started to just habit stack. First, it was just waking up 10 minutes earlier than I normally would, not snoozing the alarm, right? Get up, wake up first, right? Just wake up and greet the day. Greet yourself from coming back from the dream realm, right? Whether you remember your dreams or not, you welcome yourself back from that sleep state. And just being gentle with the body. And then maybe you just slowly sit up. Maybe then you drop the legs to the side of the bed and they're kind of dangling, and then feet make connection with floor. You feel grounded, you come up, then you go do all your bathroom stuff. And this is where I had begun to get on the vibration plate just to get energy moving throughout my body. As I did that, then I was like, you know what? This is a great time for me to oil pull and on my Spotify, play binaural beats. For me, that's what I liked. But shoot, play rock and roll, whatever's going to get you in the mood. That's habit stacking. That's being aware of my habits and my behaviors because some days, oh my goodness, I don't want to do shit. I just want to wake up. And I guess I don't even want to wake up. I want to sleep in. But if I have to, I'm obviously, I'm awake, brush my teeth, makeup, hair, get dressed, coffee, lunch, breakfast, make sure pets are taken care of and go sit in traffic, get to job, unload car, get to office, get to classroom, begin work. You know what I mean? And it's like it can get like that, especially when we are not happy where we are, either within ourselves, at our jobs. I know we're really feeling it. So the waxing moon from the crescent on, is that circle of consciousness. It's that awareness. This is where we really start to come in and notice that this waxy moon period is a time for our reflection, and not just our reflection or the reflection of what we were noticing at the new moon, but we are moving forward and we are helping our progress. And you know what? You may fall, but F that, you're going to get up and you're going to try again. All right, that way didn't work. Or I've been doing it. Have you, who said it was, what's madness or craziness when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, the same way, and you're expecting a different result? But that's just because a lot of times our beautiful brains are trying to protect us, right? Why are you changing things? Whoa, 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 pump the brakes. And it's that fear response, anxiety, make your hands feel a little clammier or whatnot. You're like, oh, but do I really want this raise though? Will I have time? Remember how I told y'all that I had this Patreon just sitting there and it's like, oh, but what if people join? And five of you have. And so you're like, five? Oh, okay. Or maybe you're like, wow, five? And I love my five followers. And to me, there was no judgment. I see them, reading my posts and, coming into the spell work that I put because it's nothing like, oh, well, why are you in this tier and come up here and you're only a free member? Well, no, because that's just where we are. And I'm just so happy to share the space. But I was so scared to put it out there because, oh my gosh, what if I get a million people? What if I just get one and that one person thinks I suck? Like, this Patreon sucks, right? But that stuff, it's out of my control. Whether you come or go, I was just happy that you were here and maybe I helped you. Maybe you gained something. And then that was what you needed and you move on your way. This is a good time for showing others your evolution. This is a good time to move on that project. Even if it's nothing so grand, this is a time where you love on yourself. Shoot, take that selfie, post it, take all the pictures of yourself if you don't already. Really love on yourself. Do the things that you love to do. Not because you're trying to make it a side hustle, not because, you feel like you have to do it. This is what you want to do it. So the first few days after the new moon, it's this period of regeneration, right? So you're really starting. I always think of like, okay, you can think of like a battery when you charge your phone, and it's like almost dead, and you just see the little bars continue to climb, do do do, climbing. And I also think of like Jurassic Park towards the end where like goes down and she is like repowering the grid on the park, right? And you just see the lights start like boom, it's just lighting up the darkness. That's this regeneration. Now, granted, there was a velociraptor right behind her, but man, did it make her move, right? What do you mean? You're just standing there. Yeah, you got the power on now. Let's get to a safe space. Let's keep moving. And like I said, whether you fall, trip, or stumble, that's okay. You are moving forward. I was even thinking of like, have you ever seen on videos like little baby animals that are just born, like a deer, and they just have like the wobbliest legs and they fall a couple times? That's this right here. But you gain the strength. You continue to move. You are noticing these shifts. You are inviting these opportunities to come to you. You're noticing synchronicities, right? And that's really on the crescent. Once we get to this first quarter moon, this is the balance part now. Okay, we're a little bit stable on our legs. Okay, we've noticed some things. How can I get XYZ done or get this job if I haven't really looked at my resume in a while? Oh, shoot. I haven't even added the other things that I do, right? So during the first quarter, this is a perfect time for integration. All right, so you started your practice, right, with this new moon, and you're continuing to move forward. You're noticing the shifts. You're noticing, okay, this is where I get blocked. This is probably a place where you stop and you're like, ugh, it's just not worth it. But you continue to go because you can feel the motivation expanding. And if you're ever looking at the crescent and then you're just looking, oh my gosh, this is too much. Why did I think I could ever do this? In that evening, go up and look at the moon until we hit that first quarter, because that is where you can really feel that balance. Put it into the moon's hands. Help me be a little bit more, insert here. Or maybe it's not even the more. Maybe it's just a moment where you are at the crossroads. Hey, not Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. Exactly. So you can even think of me if you're at this moment of a crossroads, because this is a time where you're like, oh my gosh, I started to habit stack, and now I'm here and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just had the worst night's sleep. I could really use the extra 10 minutes of sleep before getting up instead of getting up and getting on my vibration plate. Instead of getting up and doing a quick stretch, the sleep would just be so much more amazing. So this would be the time where you look up at the moon. This would be the time where you notice that you're at the crossroads. You're noticing the block. You're noticing that you've started this new habit or practice at the new moon. And you are about, I don't know, let's say a week in. And instead of wavering, look up at that first quarter moon and see that balance. Because if you continue just to take one more step forward, to have that courage, to have the will and that dedication to move forward and give yourself grace and patience, then we continue to move into the waxing gibbous and we continue to illuminate. You continue to grow onto it, because this is the learning stages. It's like riding the bike. You have the training wheels and now it's time to take them off, and oh, you're wobbling all over the place, but soon enough you get to it. It's like, oh my gosh, where do I brake and how do I turn? And You have maybe some anxieties over it, and that's okay. This is new. This is a new shift. But you have the courage. This is maybe where you bring in the spells or the affirmations or prayers. And as you continue just to take one more step forward, you have this waxing gibbous moon in its bounty and beauty because we are just inching so much closer to that full moon. Now we're getting ready, we're picking up speed. Where we were wobbly, couldn't even stand on our own 2 feet, then we get a little bit, oh, okay, a little bit more, sure footing. And now it's like, okay, I feel like this scary ass fucking process is now opening for me. Yeah. I feel like maybe I have a little bit more control. And now you're starting to see these anxieties for what they were. It was just a little bit of fear because you're changing things. And yeah, you may still be second guessing yourself, and that's still normal, but you keep going no matter the hurdles. You keep moving forward. Even if you've had rejections or delays, or this door just isn't opening, you know to take a step back now and you're all, okay, why isn't this door opening? Maybe it's protecting you from something. Maybe it's like, ooh, hold on, work on this other thing real quick. That way, we can continue to move forward. You're not taking any, blocks or hurdles or rejection or delays or doors that are not quite opening yet as defeat. You are taking this as, okay, I'm feeling the energetics around here. I feel my emotions, and now I'm looking at this from a logical standpoint. These waxing moon energies can sometimes be challenging. And let me side note here, it can also be very challenging if you're an introvert, because this is a time where you're actually moving out. So maybe talking to more people or posting more, really putting yourself out there. And yeah, that can almost make you want to pump the brakes, but the waxing moon corresponds with taking a breath, love, health, abundance, right? So you want to continue to move towards what you want. But instead of running gung ho for it, these are little things you can do when you feel like this is challenging. Also, this is a time where if you are setting changes, different habits or whatnot, setting boundaries, maybe you've always had this boundary, but now you're setting firm into it, like, okay, this is what it is. Remember that some people are not going to like it, especially if they are used to you being a certain way, a doormat, always saying okay when you don't want to, um, not putting yourself first or whatever it is. This is the time where you ground yourselves a little bit more and you put that circle of protection energy. And if this is your first episode, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. But if you need a refresher or you don't know these yet, go back to season 1 where I talk about grounding and clearing your space and that energetic protection because you're going to need it. Think of this as like also, when well, I don't know, I really don't lift weights anymore. However, if you look at these transformations, right, and you want like a physical, like an actual idea, it's like when you're working out a muscle, right? And when you first hit the gym, you're lifting like 2-pound weights because that's the only thing you can do to lift safely and for what you want to achieve, right? And some people don't want to start at the very bottom, like bottom, quote unquote, with lightweight. They want to go all in. But then you risk injury and having to go backwards and maybe physical therapy and all that. So you start with little things. And then after the 2 pounds, you're like, let's see how I feel with the 4 pound. Can't do as many reps, but you know what? I'm going to get there. And then you move up a couple pounds. And then before you know it, when you see yourself, you can see the muscle is building. You can see that change. And that's what I want you to kind of really focus on as you're going from the new moon all the way up into this waxing gibbous. Now, I took some notes on a book I was reading about the moon, and there were some things here about the waxing moon where it's a reminder not to take the shortcuts. Okay. So instead of, and I just liked the questions they had asked, instead of saying, how did you get that thing? Like, where did you get that? How did you get that? How did you get to being so good at reading tarot? How did you get to be a Reiki master? How did you get that promotion? How did you get that new car? The questions that should be asked is, how long have you been doing this work that got you that thing? Right? Or they say, like, how did you get that? Who did you know? Because sometimes, honestly, that's just how the world is, right? It's who you know. Or what did you do to make that happen? And sometimes the tone in people can sometimes be a jealousy. And sometimes maybe that's even your own thoughts, like, I wonder how she got that job, or how did he get that position? But if you're looking to move forward, right, whether it's whatever it is, it's how long, like I said, have you been doing this work? What do you enjoy most about the work? What has doing this work taught you? What are the challenges that you have faced in this work? How has your work grown and changed you over time? So, showing up and doing the work under the waxing moon is not just like physical work. It can be, but this is like your behavior, your thoughts, your efforts. Also, this is looking into your emotional and mental and magical development as far as work. If you're looking at working, including things like being a parent or being a pet owner, both, right? Maybe dating, figuring out your purpose. What is gaining confidence, right? We hear that a lot like, well, I want confidence. I want his confidence. I want her confidence. Is it the confidence that you want? This is the work where you go deeper than that. This is where it's like, is it the confidence or is it something else? Is it the way that they lead? Is it the way that they present themselves where people will listen? There's always a deeper level, right? Than what we're just saying outward. What we're saying right now is very superficial. I want confidence. I want abundance. Okay, but we can't tangibly touch those things. So the waxing moon is going to help you get deeper into the what do you mean, right? So if it's was it abundance, or do you want to have maybe disposable income so that you can go on a vacation, enjoy without having to think about anything? Also, doing the work looks completely different to everybody because I just gave a few examples about doing the work, right? So this waxing moon, these phases invites you to stop comparing yourself to others. And I know, first off, I know, trust me, it's a very, very hard habit to break, but you can break it because this process is for you and you only. It's so easy to look around and be like, oh, I just wish I had that many followers, on Instagram or on Threads. Now, you can be inspired by others. Wow, that person has 5K followers? That is amazing. I wonder how they do that because I would love to have a bigger following so that way I can boost my business and really reach the clients that I really, really want to work with. Then you go and you do a little bit of research. That is inspiration, but you are still allowing yourself to flow. You are wanting to be that magnet for those followers to come through because you are doing your work in your own voice, in your own energy. And let me tell you, nobody wants cookie cutter stuff. And yeah, sometimes the work is hard, right? Sometimes it feels like you are on the fool's journey right at that cliff, but a lot of times it's that faith. The faith that you can do this, the faith that the universe got you, the faith that your ancestors are literally pushing you forward on this. Sometimes it's just working through the uncomfy part of the work to get what you want. And it's just a reminder to treat yourself with loving kindness. Now, if you have been on this journey of this one thing where you're trying to, change, and you're just like, you're listening to this episode, and you're like, you know what? Yes. Okay. If I stop and think this was the roadblock I would always seen, and what is it? And then sometimes the work is simple through this waxing moon because it's a time where you're infusing that new moon intention into daily actions, into daily practice or weekly practice or whatever it is that you need, right? To continue to move forward, but you're still taking that walk, that stroll. It's not like you're getting up and sprinting because you don't want to set alarms like in your brain, right? That this is, oh my God, what are we doing? All of a sudden we're sprinting. This is the time where it's like, all right, I get up, I'm sticking to my plan, I have it on my calendar. Maybe you set an actual alarm like, hey, this is your midday reminder to set your feet on the floor, drop your shoulders, take a deep breath, wiggle it out. All right, let's get back to it. Little things like that. Maybe one day, um, you skip a day, or maybe the alarm didn't go off, or the alarm went off at a time where you were on the phone with your bestie, and I don't know, it just couldn't get done. And you lay your head down, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do my breath work today. That's okay. You know what? I realized it. When something like that happens, maybe I can note it. It's all right. The world's not going to end. Let it go. That's the great time. The waxing moon is like your homework, so to speak, right? You are note taking things down because sometimes these habits, they have to continue to be a thing. Continue to be a thing. You have to keep doing it. It's not just going to end right at the full moon, or it's not going to end at the next new moon. Maybe it will, but you want to continue working on that. You want to continue to follow the magical threads. And I would start small. Maybe you took my program, The Altar Within, and you're like, I really enjoyed that. And then I let my altar go to shit again. Whether this is your physical altar that you have or your internal altar that you keep. And now you're like, yeah, you know what? I think every night I'm going to leave an offering on an altar, quote unquote, and it's water next to your nightstand. But you have that water so that way when you wake up the next morning, you already started your day off with a little bit of a stretch and some water, and you're already winning. So let's end this with some magic, okay? A little bit of waxing moon magic. Like I said, with all of the other phases, a moon altar, right? This could be outside, this can be inside. This is just really the waxing moon altar is like a symbol. So maybe you put things on your altar for action or focus, right? So Maybe a reminder like to keep soaring and you have a feather on there, right? Keep it light, keep it moving. Or other offerings or things that are more reflective on what you are doing. Um, like I said, maybe it's just moon water. Moon water, moon water. It's not just for the full moon and the dark moon and the new moon. The waxing moon is a perfect time to continue to make moon water. Put it on the altar, leave it in your nightstand right next to it. I always just say leave a lid so that way lint or little pieces of dust don't fall into your water. And you already are drinking that energetics from the waxing moon, whether it's the crescent, quarter, or gibbous. You have that energy because you're continuing to move forward. May it inspire you to create and keep moving. Um, you can do something like, where am I in my notes? I already said altar. One moment, please. Here you go. Energy spell. Okay, so this spell will help boost that energy and the momentum. Okay, now if you heard me, it's I kept saying threads. So what you're gonna want is a piece of paper and some string of some sort. It can be yarn, it can be thread, it can be string, whatnot. If you can, grab a candle. If not, that's okay. But what you're going to do, well, first make sure that you ground, make sure that you cleanse your space, okay? And not just your space, but yourself as well. Maybe give your hands a good hand wash and just really picture any negative or stagnant energy to start leaving out through the palms of your hands and out the fingertips as you are washing your hands. So you're going to set up the space, and wherever space that you're at, you're going to place an item that symbolizes either your energy, your motivation, your own support, whatever it is. Like I said earlier, maybe you find a feather or you have a feather, and that's just to make you keep soaring. Maybe it's a picture of somebody, an ancestor, a guide, a deity, a family member that always has your back no matter what and always urges you to push forward. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's your inner child and it's like, come on, you can do this thing. Whatever it is, you're going to place that there too. Whatever feels good. Take a deep breath. And if you're using the candle, you're going to light your candle. This is where you focus on the flame, whether it's a real candle, a battery operated candle. Heck, maybe you just put a candle on YouTube that's burning and you watch that flame. I want you to start connecting with that feeling of that flickering flame. And you're going to bring this energy to you. Now, as you're bringing in this energy, it's going to be different for everybody, but as you're watching that flickering flame and you're feeling it, bring that energy either to your heart space, to your crown, to your root. Maybe more you're like, I want to bring it into my hands so I continue to create, or right into my belly where I know I can hold the space, wherever you feel. Okay, remember, everyone is going to be different. This journey and doing the work is different. Now, what I want you to do next with that piece of paper, and I forgot to tell you to get something to write with, you're going to write down what it is you're going to be doing to move forward or put action. So, whatever that means to you, whatever the work is, whatever it is that you planted and the work is going to be, you're going to write it on that piece of paper. As you write it down, you're going to then fold or roll that paper towards you, okay? Because you're bringing in this action because you can do it. This is just a little bit of support. And you're going to wrap that string around that paper. And you're either saying that intention in your head, maybe you're chanting a wish that you want, whatever it is. And you're just really focusing as you are moving that thread, as you are wrapping it. This is just a little spell that will help begin or will help you take those beginning steps, right? In the physical, because the energy is there. We all have that fire, right? It's maybe for some of us, it's a flicker. For others, it's just that hot ember that just needs a little bit of oxygen to get going. But basically, what you made is a talisman. Now you can add a crystal to this, maybe a bay leaf or a flower, some herbs. You could even sprinkle in there as you were rolling it. You can put it in the sachet. You can just leave it on the altar or leave it somewhere where you need it. Now you can watch your candle burn all the way down. You can continue to light that candle all through the waxing phase. This is where your practice takes shape and it's your practice. And the usual, you could do a tarot spread, an oracle spread, any kind of divination here, something that will help you stay centered, stay focused, and keep moving. You can call in your guides here, but journaling or doodling is very, very helpful in getting that energy out. So, as we have it within ourselves, that inner flame, you want to give it some oxygen so that it can start building and building. You can just continue to grow. So, something about or some topics I can give you if you're wanting to actually journal, some prompts, or maybe you want to draw on it or meditate on it. How do I follow threads to what I want? How would I describe my energy from the new moon to now? Where do I feel I need to level up? How am I translating my new moon intentions into the waxing moon actions? Now, these journal prompts I loved. They were not my own. I didn't create these. These were from the book that I was reading on the waxing moon. But I really, really enjoyed them. And it's really, really nice to take note maybe of maybe you journal on the synchronicities that you see around you and what they could possibly mean. If you're always seeing a yellow butterfly with black stripes on it, or you see the same number and it's not like a quote unquote angel number, right? It's not a repeating number 222 111 777, but it's something like you always see 456, or you always see 829. Whatever it is, right? It catches your attention because it's like, I've seen this before. What does that mean? And just maybe doing a little bit of light research or what you feel it could mean and maybe meditating with it. All right, gorgeous soul. That is continuing on our moon magic. I hope this has been very, very helpful. And I will continue on our next phases of the moon. Remember, I would love to hear if there are ways that you continue to work with the moon through its different phases. You can hit me up on my socials, shoot me an email, or open the chat in our Patreon. Everything is linked down in the show notes. So take your time, click everything, see what's being offered, and I can't wait to see you on any or everything I have to offer my beautiful, wonderful, loving community. I'm here to help support you in any way that I can. All right, gorgeous soul, until the next time, I will see you at the crossroads. Thank you for listening to this episode of Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, so don't be shy. Tap the links in the show notes to send a message or share your thoughts. Make sure you leave a review because your voice helps this community grow and guides others to find this podcast and their magic. Want even more enchantment between episodes? Sign up for my weekly newsletter for rituals, energy tips, and exclusive updates. And don't forget to follow me on my socials on Instagram and TikTok for your daily doses of magic, silliness, and behind the scene moments. If you felt a little magic today, share this episode with a friend who might need it. And until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.